I really wish my shop was heated. Okay, I got another tool today that I want to unbox and show. This is something I've been wanting to get for a while, but I really didn't have the need, but it's getting closer. So what it is, as I've mentioned before in other videos, I'm a fan of the Festool Domino. I know there's other ways to do the same thing. I like the Domino and I got it for a really good price, so that's what I use. One of the things that we're planning to do is tear down our house because it's really old. Our house was built in like the late 1890s or 1900s. It's really old. So we want to tear down the house, and when we do that, I want to rebuild at least the kitchen cabinets for it. So what I ordered is an accessory from Seneca Woodworking. They had a pretty good sale for the day after Thanksgiving, and it was like 20 or 30% off. I don't remember exactly, but they make an accessory for the domino that they call the Domiplate, which is an attachment that attaches beneath the domino, so that instead of having to rely on the fence for height, you can flip it over, use this plate as your reference edge, so that you don't have to worry about the setting you've applied to the fence moving at all. Specifically when working with either 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch plywood, which that's what the cabinets are going to be made out of. So it just seemed like an easy thing to get for the domino, so that when I'm to that point and I'm working on whatever I'm working on, it's just one less thing to worry about. And to get it for 20 or 30% off, whatever it was, it just made sense. So let's see what we got. Here's the Domiplate. In the box at least. This is for the smaller domino, the DF500. I'd like to get the big one, but it's really expensive and I don't really need it at the moment. I would just really like to have it. Maybe someday, but not right now. Alright, so with the Domiplate, there's a couple things that you get. So there's the plate itself, and then there's a handle, kind of a knob handle to go on it, and then 2 screws to attach this to the base. And one of my favorite things to get with tools, a sticker. I'm going to put that on my bandsaw because that's where I put my stickers. And of course there's some instructions. So I'm going to bust out my domino and we'll attach this to it, and if I have any scrap plywood, we'll try it out real quick. Alright, so here's my domino, and normally if you were going to be using this on a piece of wood, you can just lower your fence, set it to whatever height you want it at, and then you would rest this fence on top of the workpiece and away you go. So the idea here with the Domiplate is to leave the fence up, and we don't really have to worry about the height because we know we're working with a fixed thickness, so everything we're going to be working with is going to be, you know, roughly 3/4 or roughly 1/2 inch. So one thing that's helpful is right on the plate itself, it tells you if you're going to use 3/4 inch ply, then this side needs to be visible. If you're going to do 1/2 inch ply, this side needs to be visible. And where that makes a difference, I don't know how well this will show up against my black coat, but you'll notice that the distance between this face and this face is different than the distance between this face and this face. So that's to accommodate for the difference in thickness between 3/4 and 1/2 inch ply. So I'm going to put it on for 3/4 because that's mostly what I have, I believe. And it's just going to connect to these holes that are already on the domino. One thing to take notice of as you're setting up the plate, so these 2 holes are threaded, and the 2 holes that are on the Domiplate itself are also threaded. So you can't really start to thread the screw in and then put it on here and then just go ahead and start screwing it in because you've got competing threads. So these are meant to be used as a captive screw, and if you can tell here on the side, the top of the screw isn't threaded and is a slightly smaller diameter. So we just thread these all the way through. And then they'll spin freely, but they're also not going to fall out and get lost. So do that for both of them. line that up, and then just go ahead and tighten that. Okay, so that's in place. Then we just attach the knob. Now we're basically ready to go. Another thing also with the domino, of course, you have to align your mortise holes, and that's where this viewing slot comes in handy, because there's a very fine line etched into the base of the domino right there. This way you're still able to see where the cutter is going to engage, instead of that being covered up or something. So we're basically ready to go. I've just got 2 scrap pieces of 3/4 inch plywood here, and I'll just cut a mortise into probably 2 in each one, and then grab a couple dominoes and just see how well they come together. The main thing that I'm after is alignment across these 2 planes. I want that to be as flush as possible. That's my goal here. So I'm just going to strike a couple lines real quick. And let's go with there. And about right there. So one thing you have to keep in mind when doing this is, now if you're cutting against this surface here, you do need all of this clearance for the tool here. So I can't just drop it down and then start cutting. It's got to be elevated on something so that there's clearance for the tool. So you'll notice this first hole is really close to the surface, and right after giving my little spiel about clearance, I just felt like I had this down really tight, but if you notice, it's catching actually down here. So this piece of wood that I was using wasn't quite tall enough to give it the clearance it needs. We'll try that again. Okay, that's better. We've got the clearance underneath there now. So we'll try that again. Okay. We've got the mortises cut on both sides. So let's just do a quick test fit. And what we're looking for is for the 2 faces that were used as our reference surfaces to match up. Now, of course, this is really rough CDX plywood, so it still looks pretty gnarly, but feeling across that, they feel pretty good. I didn't have to bother setting the depth. I didn't have to worry about the fence shifting after a lot of use. It's just locked in. So I would say that's a pretty good mating on the surfaces there. I should probably do this again with some nicer plywood, but this is just what I had for now. So there's just a real quick unboxing and demo of the Seneca Woodworking Domiplate for the Domino 500, the DF500. I like it. I thought it was a good deal. I think it's really well built, nice thick solid aluminum. It's got the idiot-proof instructions etched right into it, and the joint that it created was dead on, perfectly flat, other than my one screw up in the beginning. It was perfect. And that wasn't the fault of the tool, that was my fault for not setting up a proper base with enough clearance. So if you were using this against an MFT or against your workbench, like for me, I don't have an MFT, I just have this huge Rubo workbench. I've got 3 feet of clearance, or however tall that thing is, so it would be just fine. So I think it was a good deal. I'll provide a link below for their website. I think it's just senecawoodworking.com, but I'll double check and include the link below in the description. All right, that's it for this unboxing and review. If you like this video, go ahead and click like and subscribe, and I will try to come up with more things. And we'll see you next time.